are to homeowners. If you have a power meter like this on the side of your house, you can get paid to go solar at no cost to you.
Story. Stephen J. Fiorelli. Paul M. Fiore. John B. Fiorito. John R. Fisher. Andrew Fisher. Bennett Lawson Fisher. Gerald P. Fisher. John Roger Fisher. Thomas J. Fisher. Lucy A. Fishman. Brian D. Fitzgerald. Thomas James Fitzpatrick. Richard P. Fitzsimmons. Salvatore Fume Fredo. Darlene E. Flagg. Wilson F. Flagg. Christina Donovan Flannery. Eileen Fletcher. And my father-in-law, Lieutenant John A. Creasy, FDNY. Your family loves you and misses you very much. And thank you for sending your son to me. He's a wonderful husband, the best husband a girl could ask for, and I know he'll learn that from you. We miss you and we love you very much.
In loving memory of my brother, James Patrick Ladley. We miss you, Jenny. We're so proud of your children, Elizabeth and James. Life has never been the same since you're gone. God bless America.
Andre G. Fletcher.
Carl M. Flickinger.
Matthew M. Floco.
John Joseph Florio.
Joseph Walton Flounders.
Carol Ann Flyzik.
David Fodor.
Michael N. Fodor.
Stephen Mark Fogel.
Thomas J. Foley.
James C. Folger.
David J. Fontana.
Chi Min Fu.
Delrose E. Forbes Cheatham.
Godwin Ford.
Donald A. Foreman.
Christopher Hugh Forsyth.
Claudia Alicia Foster.
Noel John Foster.
Sandra N. Foster.
Anna Fosterus.
Robert Joseph Foti.
Jeffrey Fox.
Virginia Elizabeth Fox.
Pauline Francis.
Virgin Lucy Francis.
Gary J. Frank.
Morton H. Frank.
Peter Christopher Frank.
Colleen L. Fraser.
Richard K. Frazier.
Kevin J. Frawley.
Clyde Frazier Jr.
Lillian Inez Frederick.
Andrew Fredericks.
Tamitha Freeman.
Brett Owen Freeman.
Peter L. Freund.
Arlene Eva Fry.
Alan W. Friedlander.
And my uncle Jason Malabu de Chavez. We love you and we miss you. Thank you for being our guardian angel.
And my hero and my guardian angel, my uncle, Lieutenant Jeffrey P. Walls, FDNY, Ladder 9, Great Jones Street. Although I never got the privilege to meet you, so many people tell me that I remind them of you in so many ways, and I'm so honored to have your name as my middle name. We love and miss you dearly.
Andrew Keith Friedman.
Paul J. Friedman.
Greg J. Croner.
Lisa N. Frost.
Peter Christian Fry.
Clement A. Fumando.
Stephen Elliott Furman.
Paul James Hermato.
Carlton Douglas Bay Fife.
Frederick Neil Gabler.
Richard Peter Gabriel.
Richard S. Gabriel.
James Andrew Gadiel.
Pamela Lee Gath.
Irvin Vincent Galliard.
Deanna Lynn Galante.
Grace Catherine Galante.
Anthony Edward Gallagher.
Daniel James Gallagher.
John Patrick Gallagher.
Lawrence J. Galletti.
Kono E. Gallo.
Vincent Galucci.
Thomas E. Galvin.
Giovanna Galetta Gambale.
Thomas Gambino Jr.
Gian F. Gamboa.
Ronald L. Gamboa.
Peter James Ganchi Jr.
Michael Gann.
Charles William Garbarini.
Andrew Sonny Garcia.
Caesar R. Garcia.
David Garcia.
Jorge Luis Maron Garcia.
Juan Garcia.
Marilyn Del Carmen Garcia.
Christopher Samuel Gardner.
Douglas Benjamin Gardner.
Harvey Joseph Gardner III.
And my cousin, victim of the 93 bombing, Johnny Boy DiGiovanni, We love you. We miss you very much. Hope to see you one day.
And my grandfather, Rick Nutt, Jaggernaut, we love you and we miss you. You live on through all your children and all your grandchildren. You were something? Oh. Jeffrey Brian Gardner.
Thomas A. Gardner.
William Arthur Gardner.
Frank Garfey.
Rocco Nino Gargano.
James M. Gartenberg.
Matthew David Carvey.
Bruce Gary.
Boyd Allen Gatton.
Donald Richard Gavigan, Jr.
Peter Allen Gay.
Terrence D. Gazani.
Gary Paul Guidel.
Paul Hamilton Geyer.
Julie M. Geis.
Paul Gerard Gelinas.
Stephen Paul Geller.
Howard G. Gelling, Jr.
Peter Victor Jenko Jr.
Stephen Gregory Genovese.
Elaine Gentle.
Linda M. George.
Edward F. Garrity.
Suzanne Garrity.
Ralph Gerhardt.
Robert Gerlich.
Dennis P. Germain.
Marina Romanovna Gertzberg.
Susan M. Getzendonner.
Lawrence D. Getzfred.
James G. Geyer.
Cortez Gee.
Joseph M. Giacone.
Vincent Francis Giamona.
Deborah Lynn Gibbon.
James Andrew Giberson.
Brenda C. Gibson.
Craig Neil Gibson.
Ronnie E. Geese.
Andrew Clive Gilbert.
And to my cousin, Janine Nicole Gonzalez, the thing I remember the most about you is your smile. The illustrious light of that smile continues to guide our family every single day. I ask that every single one of us here call upon the strength of our loved ones to help navigate us through tough times and rough roads. May we find the love to connect us and weed out all that divides us. And most importantly, we never forget.
My brother, Jimmy Ostrowski. Jimmy O. Jimmy, we miss you. Your kind blue eyes, your dimples, your sense of humor, but most importantly, your warm and caring ways that left a loving footprint in all of our hearts that we'll cherish forever. Love you, Jimmy. Timothy Paul Gilbert.
Paul Stewart Gilby.
Paul John Gill.
Mark Y. Giles.
Evan Hunter Gillette.
Ronald Lawrence Gilligan.
Romney C. Gillis.
Laura Gilly.
John F. Gilly.
Donna Marie Giordano.
Jeffrey John Giordano.
John Giordano.
Stephen A. Giorgetti.
Martin Giovanazzo.
Kunku Girolamo.
Salvatore Guito.
Cynthia Giuliano.
Mon Jean-Bilange.
Diane Glaston.
Keith Alexander Glasgow.
Thomas Erwin Glasser.
Edmund Glazer,
Harry Glenn,
Barry H. Glick,
Jeremy Logan Glick,
William Robert Gottschalk,
John T. Nassau,
Brian F. Goldberg,
Michael Gayumela,
Michelle Goldstein,
Jeffrey G. Goldland,
Stephen Ian Goldstein,
Monica Goldstein,
Andrew H. Golkin,
Ronald F. Galinsky,
Enrique Antonio Gomez,
Dennis James Gum,
Manuel Gomez Jr.,
Jose Bienvenido Gomez, and my brother Luis Eduardo Torres. I miss you. I love you.
and my brother Jason Michael Sefferville. Jay, we love and miss you every day. We can't thank you enough for all the hilarious stories and memorable laughs you left us with. You're deeply missed by your parents, your sister and brother-in-law, all your cousins, your best friends, and me. We live every day with enthusiasm and gratitude as you would have wanted.
Wilder Alfredo Gomez,
Janine Nicole Gonzalez,
Maurizio Gonzalez,
Rosa J. Gonzalez,
Lynn Catherine Goodchild,
Calvin Joseph Gooding,
Peter Morgan Goodrich,
Harry Goody,
Kieran Kumar Reddy Goku,
Catherine C. Gorea,
Lisa Fenn Goldenstein,
Corrine Gordon,
Sebastian Gorky,
Kieran Joseph Gorman,
Thomas Edward Gorman,
Michael Edward Gould,
O. Kristen Osterholm White Gould,
Douglas Allen Gowell,
Yuji Goya,
John Richard Grabowski,
Christopher Michael Grady,
Edwin J. Graff III,
David Martin Graffman,
Gilbert Franco Granados,
Lauren Catusi Brancolas and her unborn child,
Elvira Granito,
Winston Arthur Grant,
Christopher S. Gray,
Ian J. Gray,
James Michael Gray,
Tara McLeod Gray,
John M. Grazioso,
Timothy George Grazioso,
Derek Arthur Green,
Wade B. Green,
Wanda Anita Green,
Elaine Myra Greenberg,
Donald Freeman Green,
Gail R. Green,
James Arthur Greenleaf Jr.,
and my cousin Melissa Candida Doy. Melissa, you were so much more than 9/11. We love you. We miss you. I pray for everyone who's here. I send a blessing to each and every one of us. And I just ask that we love and be kind to one another. God protect our country.
and my uncle Paul Frederick Biatini. Uncle Paul, we love and miss you every day. Your memory and legacy is carried on by your amazing daughters, your amazing wife, your siblings, the entire family. We love and miss you. I can't believe it's been 20 years, and it's such an honor to be here with everybody, remembering 20 years later. God bless.
Eileen Marcia Greenstein,
Elizabeth Martin Gregg,
Denise Marie Gregory,
Donald H. Gregory,
Florence Moran Gregory,
Pedro Grahan,
John Michael Griffin,
Tawana Sherry Griffin,
Joan Donna Griffin,
Warren Grifka,
Ramon B. Grijalvo,
Joseph Grillo, Joseph F. Grillo,
David Joseph Grimner,
Francis Edward Grogan,
Linda Bronland,
Kenneth George Grisales,
Joseph Grizelik,
Matthew James Grzymowski,
Robert Joseph Shar,
Lemming Gu,
Richard J. Budogno,
Fighter Jose A. Guadalupe,
Cindy Yang Zhu Guan,
Lieutenant Jeffrey E. Buja,
Joseph P. Gullickson,
Babita Gujamati Guman,
Douglas Brian Gurian,
Janet Ruth Gustafson,
Philip T. Guza,
Barbara Guzardo,
Peter Mark Gulavari,
Gary Robert Haig,
Andrea Lynn Haberman,
Barbara Mary Habib,
Philip Hensler,
Nizam A. Hafiz,
Karen Elizabeth Haggerty,
Stephen Michael Haggis,
Mary Lou Hay,
Lieutenant David Halterman,
and my uncle Don Markovich. We love you and miss you, and we're going to bring that dime and bring it up again next year.
and my cousin, firefighter Dennis Patrick Oberg, Ladder 105. Cousin Dennis, we miss you with every passing day. Even the little ones have come to know and love you. Claire, Madeline, Colleen, Georgie, Rocco, and Arabella. We know your spirit is with us. So until we meet again, please keep watching over us.
Miley Rachel Hale,
Diane Hale McKenzie,
Richard B. Hall,
Stanley R. Hall,
Boswell George Hall,
Robert J. Halligan,
Vincent Gerard Halloran,
Carolyn B. Howman,
James Douglas Halverson,
Mohammed Salam Hamdani,
Alicia Hamilton,
Robert W. Hamilton,
Carl Max Hammond Jr.,
Frederick K. Hahn,
Christopher James Hanley,
Sean S. Hanley,
Valerie Joan Hanna,
Thomas Paul Hannafin,
Kevin James Hannaford Sr.,
Michael Lawrence Hannon,
Dana Ray Hannon,
Christine Lee Hansen,
Peter Burton Hanson,
Sue Kim Hansen,
Vasilios G. Haramis,
James A. Harlan,
Gerald Francis Hardacre,
Jeffrey Pike Hardy,
T.J. Hargrave,
Daniel Edward Harlan,
Francis Harros,
Harvey L. Harrell,
Stephen G. Harrell,
Melissa Harrington Hughes,
Aisha Ann Harris,
Stuart D. Harris,
John Patrick Hart,
Eric Hartono,
John Clinton Hartz,
Emmerich Harvey.
And my brother-in-law, who I love like a big brother, Peter T. Milano. Your memory and spirit live on through Patty, Peter, Jessica, your 5 beautiful granddaughters, your entire family and friends. May you rest in peace. To meet again. We all love and miss you, Pete. And may God bless our country, our military, and all first responders.
And to our sister, Celeste Torres Victoria. Celeste was a model. She was our light, with a vivacious and dynamic personality. When she walked into the room, it lit up. She was intelligent, beautiful, elegant, a zest for life. Celeste attended NYU and graduated cum laude in journalism. As a woman of the media, she used that platform to advocate for women's rights and justice. Celeste left behind her beautiful daughter, Jasmine, who graduated from Duke University on a full academic scholarship. We will always miss and cherish the memories of our sister, Celeste Torres Victoria.
Peter Paul Hashem, Thomas Theodore Haskell Jr., Timothy Sean Haskell, Joseph John Hassan III, Leonard W. Hatton Jr., Terrence S. Hatton, Michael Helmut Bob, Timothy Aaron Haviland, Donald G. Hawkins Jr., Anthony Maurice Hawkins, Laurel James Edward Hayden, Robert J. Hayes, Philip T. Hayes, W. Ward Fine, Scott Jordan Hazelhorn, Michael K. Healy, Roberta B. Hever, Charles Francis Xavier Curran, John F. Heffernan, Michelle M. Finberger, Sheila M.S. Hine, H. Joseph Keller Jr., Joanne L. Heltebridle, Ronald John Hemingway, Mark F. Hemscott, Ronnie Lee Henderson, Brian Hennessy, Edward R. Hennessy Jr., Michelle Marie Henrique, Joseph Patrick Henry, William L. Henry Jr., Catherine Henry Robinson, John Christopher Henwood, Robert Allen Hepburn, Mary Herencia, Lindsay C. Perkins III, Harvey Robert Hermer, Humberto Fernandez, Raul H. Fernandez,
saw myself before you looked at me, before you kissed my lips, before you smiled at me, and I knew that day I would never be alone. And it's the only way. Life never got me low. Tears never broke me down. Inside I always know I'd be by your side, so I'd never be alone. But all that is different right now, and everything's solid off the ground. You'll never be alone. You'll never be alone. If you fall, I'll catch you. I won't ever let you be alone. I never want you to feel uncertainty. I listen to every word, believe every single dream. The world has a funny way of making you feel like you're alone. And when trials and troubles come, love one, you know that your welfare is my concern. If I'm far away, you know that I'll find my way back to your side. When the tide starts to roll and the wind starts to blow, when the thing you're afraid of is invisible, you'll never be alone. You'll never be alone. If you fall, I'll catch you. I won't ever let you be alone. If you fall, I'll catch you. I won't ever let you be alone. No, you'll never be
Thank you. That was a perfect song to follow up my sister. My cousin, a Bristol Nigerian, Charlie, and a Marine. You know, he always had a dream about keeping the American dream alive. And I ask for everyone to honor that and keep it alive, and to continue to support and defend your country and protect your loved ones. My children speak to you all the time, and I feel your support. Thank you. And we remember so many other Americans lost to violence, oppression, and the pandemic in our great country, who do not receive a national moment of recognition and whose families mourn them deeply, as we do here today. And my beloved sister, Catherine Patricia Salter, she had a habit of saying, "Get over it." And Kathy, we have never gotten over it, but we have gotten on with it. We've tried to live life fully each day, and your love and companionship as a sister continues to inspire us and to inspire me. Your light shone bright and beautiful, and you live on in our hearts.
Gary Harold,
Jeffrey Allen Hirsch,
Thomas J. Hetzel,
Leon Bernard Hayward, MC Sundance,
Ryan Christopher Hickey,
and Emencio Dario Hidalgo Cedeno,
Timothy Ryan Higgins,
Robert D.W. Higley II.
Todd Russell Hill.
Clara Victorine Hines.
Neil O. Hines.
Mark Hindi.
Katsuyuki Hirai.
Heather Malia Ho.
Tara Yvette Hobbs.
Thomas Anderson Hobbs.
James J. Hoban.
Robert Wayne Hobson III.
Dewan Hodges.
Ronald G. Horner.
Patrick A. Hoey.
John A. Hoffer.
Marcia Hoffman.
Stephen Gerard Hoffman.
Frederick Joseph Hoffman.
Michelle L. Hoffman.
Judith Florence Hoffmiller.
Wallace Cole Hogan Jr.
Thomas Warren Holwick Jr.
Jonathan R. Homan.
Cora Hidalgo Holland.
John Holland.
Joseph F. Holland.
Jimmy I. Hawley.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Thomas P. Holohan.
Herbert Wilson Homer.
Leroy W. Homer Jr.
Bradley V. Horn.
James P. Hopper.
And my brother, Brian Joseph Murphy. We miss you terribly. Love you forever. Your girls are excellent. It's a pleasure to see them move to a life of helping others.
And my deeply loved and dearly missed Uncle Christopher Newton Carter. We will never forget you.
Go ahead.
Montgomery McCullough Hord.
Michael Joseph Horn.
Matthew Douglas Hornan.
Robert L. Horoho Jr.
Michael Robert Horrocks.
Aaron Horowitz.
Charles J. Houston.
Ahuru G. Houston.
Angela M. Howells.
George Gerard Howard.
Brady K. Howell.
Michael C. Howell.
Stephen Leon Howell.
Jennifer L. Howley.
Milagros Romero.
Marion R. Richa.
Stephen Hutchfield Jr.
Chris Robert Hughes.
Paul Rexford Hughes.
Robert T. Hughes Jr.
Thomas F. Hughes Jr.
Timothy Robert Hughes.
Susie Hume.
Lamar Demetrius Holsey.
John Nicholas Humber Jr.
William Christopher Hunt.
Kathleen Ann Hunt Casey.
Joseph Gerard Hunter.
Peggy M. Hurt.
Robert R. Husa.
Stephen N. Highland Jr.
Robert J. Heimel.
Thomas Edward Hines.
Walter G. Hines.
Joseph Anthony Ionelli.
Zuzu Ibis.
Jonathan Lee Yelpy.
William Patrick Eichen.
Daniel Ilkanaev.
Frederick L. J. L. Jr.
And my wonderful father, Ian Thompson, you are a light for all of us, and you are so very missed. Even after 20 years, it feels surreal, and it's a difficult but beautiful thing to be here to honor you. Love you, Dad.
And my brother, firefighter Paul Hanley Keating, ladder 5. Paul, your family can't believe it's been 20 years. We miss you, and we miss you just as much today as we did 20 years ago. Until then, may God hold you in his hands.
Abraham Nathaniel Illowitz.
Anthony P. Infante Jr.
Louis S. Inglaterra.
Christopher Noble Ingracia.
Paul Inella.
Stephanie Veronica Irby.
Douglas Jason Eargang,
Christine Irvine Ryan,
Todd Antione Isaac,
Eric Hans Isbronson,
Taizo Ishigawa,
Walid Joseph Inkandar,
Aram Iskandarian Jr.,
John F. Iskyan,
Kazushige Ito,
Alexander Valar Evich Ivansov,
Lacey Bernard Ivory,
Virginia May Jablonski,
Ryan C. Jack,
Brooke Alexandra Jackman,
Aaron Jeremy Jacobs,
Ariel Lewis Jacobs,
Jason Kyle Jacobs,
Michael G. Jacobs,
Stephen A. Jacobson,
Stephen D. Jacoby,
Ricknoff Jaggernoff,
Jake Dennis Jagoda,
Yudvir S. Jane,
Maria Jan Kubiak,
Robert Adrian Jalbert,
Ernest James,
Griselda E. James,
Mark Stephen Jardine,
Amy Nicole Jarrett,
Mohamedou Jawara,
Francois Jean-Pierre,
Maxima Jean-Pierre,
Paul Edward Jeffers,
John Charles Jenkins,
and my uncle Christopher Noble Ingracia. Even though you died more than 8 years before I was born, your memory lives on through me and so many of your family and friends. Now Grandpa is in heaven with you too. May you both rest in the peace of his kingdom, and may God bless America.
and to my cousin Daniel L. Maher.
Joseph Jenkins Jr., Alan Keith Jensen, Prem Nath Giraffe, Farah Judy, Huizha Jian, Eliza Jimenez Jr., Luis Jimenez Jr., Charles Gregory John, Nicholas John, Dennis M. Johnson, Lashana Johnson, Scott Michael Johnson, William R. Johnston, Allison Horstman Jones, Arthur Joseph Jones III, Brian Leander Jones, Charles Edward Jones, Christopher D. Jones, Donald T. Jones II, Donald W. Jones, Judith Lauter Jones, Linda Jones, Mary S. Jones, Andrew Brian Jordan Sr., Robert Thomas Jordan, Albert Gunness Joseph, Ingeborg Joseph, Carl Henry Joseph, Stephen Joseph, Jane Eileen Josiah, Anthony Jovic, Angel L. Warbe Jr., Karen Sue Jude, Ann C. Judge, Michael F. Judge, Paul William Jurgens, Thomas Edward Jurgens, Shashikaran Lakshmita Kadaba, Gaparoy Kamardinova, Shari Candel, and my cousin, Brian. My cousin, Brian Christopher Hickey, FDNY Battalion Chief from Rescue 4. So very brave, so very missed, so very loved by so many, always. And my father, Louis F. Eversano Jr., To my daddy and all of those that we lost 20 years ago today. Your loss has left us all with a heartache that nothing will ever heal. But know this, our love for you and our memories of you and with you are something that no one and nothing, no evil, will ever steal. God bless America. Howard Lee Kane.
Jennifer Lee Lynn Kane.
Vincent D. Kane.
June Koo Kang.
Sheldon Robert Cantor.
Deborah H. Kaplan.
Robin Lynn Kaplan.
Alvin Peter Kappelman Jr.
Charles H. Karcheski.
William A. Carnes.
Douglas Jean Karpaloff.
Charles L.
And we're going to go now to Shanksville, Pennsylvania, to hear from former President George W. Bush. He will be speaking shortly. Of course, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the crash site where Flight 93 and the heroes there saved the United States Capitol or the White House from another terrorist attack. Those heroes aboard Flight 93 drove the plane into a field. President George W. Bush is not the only person that is there in Shanksville. The Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, is there. President Bush is joined by President Joe Biden, who left here in New York to attend as well. Let's listen now to the president who began the war on terror after the attacks here.
Thank you very much. Laura and I are honored to be with you. Madam Vice President, Vice President Cheney, Governor Wolf, Secretary Holland, and distinguished guests. 20 years ago, we all found in different ways, in different places, but all at the same moment, that our lives would be changed forever. The world was loud with carnage and sirens, and then quiet with missing voices that would never be heard again. These lives remain precious to our country and infinitely precious to many of you. Today we remember your loss, we share your sorrow, and we honor the men and women you have loved so long and so well. For those too young to recall that clear September day, it is hard to describe the mix of feelings we experienced. There was horror at the scale of destruction, and awe at the bravery and kindness that rose to meet it. There was shock at the audacity of evil, and gratitude for the heroism and decency that opposed it. In the sacrifice of the first responders, in the mutual aid of strangers, in the solidarity of grief and grace, the actions of an enemy revealed the spirit of a people, and we were proud of our wounded nation. In these memories, the passengers and crew of Flight 93 must always have an honored place. Here, the intended targets became the instruments of rescue, and many who are now alive owe a vast, unconscious debt to the defiance displayed in the skies above this field. It would be a mistake to idealize the experience of those terrible events. All that many people could initially see was the brute randomness of death. All All that many could feel was unearned suffering. All that many could hear was God's terrible silence. There are many who still struggle with a lonely pain that cuts deep within. In those fateful hours, we learned other lessons as well. We saw that Americans were vulnerable, but not fragile. That they possess a core of strength that survives the worst that life can bring. We learned that bravery is more common than we imagined, emerging with sudden splendor in the face of death. We vividly felt how every hour with our loved ones was a temporary and holy gift. And we found that even the longest days end. Many of us have tried to make spiritual sense of these events. There is no simple explanation for the mix of providence and human will that sets the direction of our lives. But comfort can come from a different sort of knowledge. After wandering long and lost in the dark, many have found they were actually walking step by step toward grace. As a nation, our adjustments have been profound. Many Americans struggle to understand why an enemy would hate us with such zeal. The security measures incorporated into our lives are both sources of comfort and reminders of our vulnerability. And we have seen growing evidence that the dangers to our country can come not only across borders, but from violence that gathers within. There is little cultural overlap between violent extremists abroad and violent extremists at home. But in their disdain for pluralism, in their disregard for human life, in their determination to defile national symbols, they are children of the same foul spirit, and it is our continuing duty to confront them. After 9/11, millions of brave Americans stepped forward and volunteered to serve in the armed forces. The military measures taken over the last 20 years to pursue dangers at their source have led to debate. But one thing is certain. We owe an assurance to all who have fought our nation's most recent battles. Let me speak directly to veterans and people in uniform. The cause you pursued at the call of duty is the noblest America has to offer. You have shielded your fellow citizens from danger. You have defended the beliefs of your country and advanced the rights of the downtrodden. You have been the face of hope and mercy in dark places. You have been a force for good in the world. Nothing that has followed, nothing, can tarnish your honor or diminish your accomplishments. To you and to the honored dead, our country is forever grateful. In the weeks and months following the 9/11 attacks, I was proud to lead an amazing, resilient, united people. When it comes to the unity of America, those days seem distant from our own. Malign force seems at work in our common life that turns every disagreement into an argument, and every argument into a clash of cultures. So much of our politics has become a naked appeal to anger, fear, and resentment. That leaves us worried about our nation and our future together. I come without explanations or solutions. I can only tell you what I've seen. On America's day of trial and grief, I saw millions of people instinctively grab for a neighbor's hand and rally to the cause of one another. That is the America I know. At a time when religious bigotry might have flowed freely, I saw Americans reject prejudice and embrace people of Muslim faith. That is the nation I know. At a time time when nativism could have stirred hatred and violence against people perceived as outsiders. I saw Americans reaffirm their welcome to immigrants and refugees. That is the nation I know. At a time when some viewed the rising generation as individualistic and decadent, I saw young people embrace an ethic of service and rise to selfless action. That is the nation I know. This is not mere nostalgia. It is the truest version of ourselves. It is what we have been and what we can be again. 20 years ago, terrorists chose a random group of Americans on a routine flight to be collateral damage in a spectacular act of terror. The 33 passengers and 7 crew of Flight 93 could have been any group of citizens selected by fate. In a sense, they stood in for us all. The terrorists soon discovered that a random group of Americans is an exceptional group of people. Facing an impossible circumstance, they comforted their loved ones by phone, braced each other for action, and defeated the designs of evil. These Americans were brave, strong, and united in ways that shocked the terrorists, which should not surprise any of us. This is the nation we know. And whenever we need hope and inspiration, we can look to the skies and remember. God bless.
Looking down on us. Never forget. God bless America. God bless New York. And God bless all the first responders that gave their lives that day. This is our city. You can't take down New York ever.
And my mother, Barbara P. Walsh. After 20 years, Mom, we're still carrying on all the love and the traditions that you've implanted in our hearts. You would think after 20 years, it would get easier. The last 20 years, you lost that on birthdays, holidays, anniversaries, Sunday dinners, celebrating our favorite season, fall, and our lovely Florida vacations, and watching your 8 grandchildren grow up and watching them be born. The missing goes on, and all we have to go on with our lives, we have, and all of your children are successful, and that's a testament to you, Mom. Your absence has created a huge void in our hearts and our lives, and that will never be filled again. We miss you so much, Mom. It's unbearable. God bless America. Please keep us safe. I love you.
David W. Lachak.
Eugene Gabriel Lazar.
James Patrick Levy.
Joseph Gerard Levy.
Neil J. Levy.
Robert J. LeBlanc.
Leon Labor.
Kenneth Charles Lady.
Alan J. Liederman.
Elena F. Ledesma.
Alexis Leduc.
Daniel John Lee.
David S. Lee.
Dong Shun Lee.
Gary H. Lee.
Hyun Jun Lee.
Juanita Lee.
Catherine Blair Lee.
Linda C. Lee.
Lorraine Mary Green Lee.
Myung Woo Lee.
Richard Y.C. Lee.
Stuart Sujin Lee.
Ye Der Lee.
Stephen Paul Lefkowitz,
Adriana Negro.
Edward Joseph Lehman,
Eric Lerfeld.
David R. Leastman,
David Prudencio Lamagne.
Joseph Anthony Lenahan,
John Joseph Lennon Jr.
John Robinson Lenoir,
Jorge Luis Leon Sr.
Matthew G. Leonard,
Michael Lepore.
Charles A. Lesbars,
Jeff Levine.
John Dennis Levi,
Alicia Karen Levin.
and my brother-in-law, Alfred Russell Mailer, Big Al. You have been and continue to be missed every single day for the last 20 years. We will never forget your life or any of the lives lost on or as a result of or in response to 9/11. But let us also never forget what came right after that horrific day. An unparalleled sense of unity, of pride in and love of our country, of amazing compassion of each other, whether family, friend, or complete stranger. And in our grief and our strength, we were not divided based on our voting preference, the colour of our skin, or our moral or religious beliefs. That was the United States I fell in love with, and that's the United States I proudly chose to become a citizen of. God bless all those lives lost, God bless our troops, and God bless America.
I only know you through stories told and your legacy. But I will make sure to let that legacy live on and to never forget you. I am proud to hold your first name as my own, and I am mostly proud to be able to carry on said legacy for generations to come. We love you and we miss you.
Should I start? Neil David Levin, Robert Levine, Robert Michael Levine, Shai Levenhar, Daniel M. Lewin, Adam J. Lewis, Jennifer Lewis, Kenneth E. Lewis, Margaret Susan Lewis, Yi Wei Liang, Orasiri Liang Fenasar, Daniel F. Libretti, Ralph Michael Lichardi, Edward Lischine, Samantha L. Lightborn Allen, Stephen Barry Lilienthal, Carlos R. Lillo, Craig Damian Lalore, Arnold Arboleda Lynn, Daria Lynn, Wei Rong Lin, Nikki L. Lindo, Thomas V. Linehan Jr., Robert Thomas Linane, Alan Patrick Linton Jr., Diane Teresa Lapari, Kenneth P. Lira Arabello, Francisco Alberto Liriano, Lorraine Lisi, Paul Listen, Winston M. Lito, Ming Hao Liu, Nancy Liz, Harold Liscano, Martin Lizzo, George A. Jonas, Elizabeth C.